guys, welcome back to the Super Real Estate Bros podcast. I am Brandon Snyder, team leader of Selling the Snyder Group, and I am here with Dave, your mortgage guy.
.com.
Oh God, he did it again. And today we are joined by a good friend of mine, Chris. You are a new real estate agent, kind of. You cut your teeth in the pandemic, and you came out the other side of it pretty okay. So Chris is joining us today. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been doing real estate. This will wrap up year 3, heading into 4, January. Started out solo agent, joined a team about 6 months into it, then realized I wanted to do that same thing, but I wanted to lead the team. So I started a team back in July, and I've just been doing that since.
Sweet. Before we get into this too much, I have a surprise for Dave. Dave doesn't know about this, but I recently took a trip to Georgia, and I went to, they have antique shops and gift shops, and for those of you who see Dave on social media, he is a big sock guy. And I almost bought these socks for myself, but they're nice dress socks, and they say, "Let that shiitake go." And so
that's awesome.
And in honor of our 5th episode recording, that's the only gift you're gonna get from me. Now, mind you, they're not.
I'll take that shiitake.
It's bad. But I wanted to get those for you because it is something that we've been friends for a while now, and every time we talk about real estate and like, oh my God, this deal's on fire, he's like, dude, like, let it go, it's gonna close.
They all close
All the time.
all the time.
We're getting a shirt, maybe that's what that's gonna be your Christmas gift. We're getting a
We
shirt,
need to
maybe.
do that. We need to. We're completely getting off track.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
all right, wait, hang on. So you mentioned a couple of things. I want to dig into that big, right?
Let's do it.
So one thing that jumps out, you actually don't hear this very often. What was the deciding factor and moment where you realized that the team setup wasn't for you and you wanted to go out on your own? Because I think sometimes for agents, especially newer or even established, there comes that moment where they're like, hey, I'm on a team. Should I go on my own? Can I go out on my own? And so I'm always interested in what was that exact moment where you're like, hey, this isn't for me, and or the graduating of saying, hey, I'm going to go in and do my own thing and start a team.
Yeah. So my instance is a little different than other people's. I'd say, generally speaking, though, the point in which that becomes clear is when the value of the team just isn't there.
Okay.
Now, by saying that, that wasn't necessarily the case. It's not why I left the team to start my own team. I actually left the team with the intention of stepping back and reducing my role in real estate as a whole.
Okay.
I was gonna stay home with the kids a little bit and just kind of hang out with them, spend more time with the family, and so I left the team. And then 2 weeks later, realized I don't want to stay home all day with my kids.
That job was way harder than real estate.
That was 10 times harder than real estate.
It's like sitting there and the kids are there and he's like, man, multiple offers and having to write $80K over on 15 different properties seems a lot better than this.
I do that ever changing poopy diapers all day. 2 toddlers is just not stay-at-home dad
Should be
material.
some of my clients. I'm kidding.
So 2 weeks into that, I was like, honey, we got to figure this out. I got to keep doing real estate. That's my love. That's what I want to keep doing. And I said, you know what, though? But I want to kind of do this at my own pace. I want to do this the way I do things. I want to kind of build my own brand.
Yeah.
And it took off a lot faster than I thought it would. I guess just kind of having that 2.5 years in the industry already just really was a good starting point to start my own team. So
Okay.
I want to jump back to something real quick. So something you mentioned that a lot of new agents deal with, and by the way, I didn't mention it, but the episode title is New Agent Nuances, things that you should probably be learning, staying away from as a new agent. So a lot of new agents who maybe they don't know how to build their brand yet, they don't know how to build their sphere, they will join a team specifically to, and I mean this not in a negative way, but to leech off of the established brand that's already there. I mean,
success that's already in place.
Yeah, when people join our team, it's not because they're selling 30 homes a year already and they're killing it. They just want to, work less and be on our team and have the structure. I mean, that might be the case for some people, but for most people who join a team, it's because they want to get that already established brand. They want to be able to say, hey, I work for the Franklin team, selling with the Snyder Group. I want to work for the Seth brothers. I want to go work for those big teams because they already have it going. They have the systems and processes in place. They have the admin staff behind them, the ISA setting their appointment. They literally just have to show up and sell homes, and that's it.
And to be honest, I mean, not enough people talk about the benefit of a team. I think that, I mean, had I gone back 3 years ago and started in real estate, I would have still joined a team.
Right.
I think that the foundation that you instill in yourself by joining a team, you learn systems that work. You have that brand that you're building for yourself with somebody else.
Yeah.
And clearly that team is successful for a reason. So why wouldn't you want to learn and grow from them?
I remember one of the first things I heard at the first team I was on. So I was on a team as like an ISA marketing role, and then I went on a team as a sales agent after I got licensed. But the first team I was on, I remember hearing from my team leader at the time. He was like, "Hey, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist." And I was like, "Oh, you're like just being an asshole." And he was like,
It's actually a bold law.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know. I just started at Keller Williams. I hadn't gone through Bold.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's really profound. And so when I'm talking to, because we do coaching with our agents on the team, and I'm kind of getting ahead, but it's important to this specific thing. I say, hey, here's my Calendly link. If you don't put it on my calendar, we're not doing coaching, and then we have a problem, right? And so that's we're talking about agents joining at the very beginning of their career. And we just take out the nitty gritty of the splits and things like that. But when you just take base level, why an agent would join your team, it's value proposition. Hey, I have the admin staff. I have a VA that will do social media for you. I have XYZ, right? I have a director of operations. It's my wife. We have an admin that we're hiring. So these things that we can provide, and your value proposition is probably something similar. Like, hey, I have the support for you. I'm going to provide you with X amount of ways to go generate leads and maybe X amount of small leads here and there and referral opportunities, and then you're just going to go sell real estate. And I think that's probably the most important thing for new agents, especially this market. Spoiler alert, if you're watching this and you're not in a time machine and it is about to be December 2022, I'm wearing a jacket because it's cold and winter has come. Winter is here. Do you like that Jon Snow reference?
That was good. That was good. Winter is coming.
No, it's here. Winter is here. The market is slowed and cooled off.
Sorry.
For 2 weeks.
Well, and let's dig into the team thing even more. I know successful agents on teams who make more money than people who are not on teams.
Shout out to the coolies.
I'm not saying anything.
80 homes a year, husband and wife team within a team. Sick. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so I think previous to now, because there's been national articles now where they're talking about the real estate team is the future. I think there was kind of a stigma to, I don't want to be on a team because I'm going to do it on my own, right? The truth of the matter is I want the biggest paycheck with the least amount of work, as everybody does. So if you join a team and they are going to have a VA and they're going to help with marketing, they're going to give coaching, and they're going to see, not only are you going to ramp up way faster, I believe, I mean, there's a high probability you're going to make more money doing less work. Because I think you guys can both dig into this. How much shit are you dealing with now as a team lead that you're not dealing with as an individual agent trying to close a little here? So as somebody who's like, I'm going to grow my own team, or I don't want to be on a team, keep in mind that these guys are doing work that you may not be built for. And I think that's okay to say that. Like, not everybody is the right, not every position is the right thing for you.
They might not even know about it. Like, they might not even realize that that's
correct.
That's what's happening.
Is that like the parent that said, like, you don't know what I did for you to get you to this position and get you? It's like, that's, I mean, and you talk about that, Chris.
If you knew the trouble that I went through.
Yeah, I had to go uphill both ways in the snow. But talk about that for a minute. So when you... Oh, I'm coming in.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So I tend to shift all the way down.
Yeah.
I start scooting over. I'm like, yeah.
Hands in the hallway.
I'm like a dog on the carpet. I gotta scratch my butt on the floor. So let's talk about that, Chris. So you got into like starting a team and leading a team what is the most important thing that like you think, we're talking Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, like what do you think that behind the curtain, if someone was like, I'm gonna join your team and everything's gonna be daisies, and you're like, dude, I literally just got into World War III behind the scenes, you didn't even see it. Let's talk about that for a little bit. What's some like the biggest thing that you've kind of done behind the scenes that if an agent comes to you, you're like, man, I get the muck for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years. I have a good understanding of what are the moving parts in a transaction or a relationship of that transaction, and what is not moving forward. And so a lot of the time, these agents, the newer ones, will come to you and say, hey, here's the contract. Like, this is what it is. It's like, well, that's not what it is. It's not black and white. There's so many things that if you were to tweak this, or you tweak this, or you tweak this, we're providing that much more value to our clients. So I'd say like about the behind the scenes, sorry, I get really off squirrel. Like, the behind the scenes thing is kind of just instilling the knowledge that I've learned from like my past, and like learning by filling out these contracts and like what works and what doesn't work, without them really realizing that like what I just told you is a golden nugget. And I come from an education background. I taught first grade before I got into real estate, and like mentorship and the educating side of like being a part of my team is a lot of like what I do for them behind the scenes that they wouldn't even like. A lot of agents, we had a team meeting yesterday. I sat down with one of the agents on my team. We talked for 2 hours. It was a coaching session. It was an event session. It was just all this in one.
Come to Jesus
moment. It was just like a, hey, like, where are we at? This is where we need to be, and like what do we need to get there? And he doesn't know that he's not going to get that, like, on his own. He doesn't realize that like that is the value that I'm working behind the scenes to make sure you're moving forward, you're being successful, and it's
No, I get that. I agree with that, because one of the things that a lot of people think is, well, I can just get into real estate and kill it, and it can. But people don't join teams because they have drive and they go seek out a team. People join teams because they need the support and the help. And
the accountability, the accountability, and
right, they need structure in their lives. Maybe they're leaving a 9 to 5 and they need to stay in some sort of structure until they get comfortable with it, and that's totally fine. Like, I tell people all the time, if you join my team and you leave in 2 years because you're killing it, I did my job correctly. But at the same time, like, if you're at my team for a year and a half and you're just doing okay, then it's either my fault, I didn't lead you correctly, I didn't teach you correctly, or it's your fault because you're not motivated enough to go do it yourself.
Or you're not picking up what I'm laying down.
I like that. And so I want to kind of transition this from why people join a team to the burden of responsibility of being responsible for people's livelihoods. And Dave, I want to pick your brain up. Yeah, Dave's like, man, put me in, coach, I'm ready.
Man, I don't know if I'm up to publicly speaking on this topic currently.
Okay,
but no, this is huge, and I think it's left out and people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think different teams, and I'm not jumping the gun here, but I think different teams treat people differently.
Yeah, and I think because we were talking about this with our coach the other day. We have an agent that is incredible. She is, everything you could ask for in an agent. She's a go-getter. We get her a lead. She's like, hey, I just set a listing appointment. I'm like, I didn't even teach you how to do that. Like, so she's incredible. And, we're in the business of being profitable, but we're also in the people business. So, empathetically, it's my responsibility as a leader. If they're showing that they're a freaking rock star, I will literally climb mountains for them. But if they're showing me that they're gonna just kind of half-ass it, like, I feel guilty when I'm like, hey, where are you at with your numbers? And they're like, yeah, like, my income isn't where I want it to be. And I feel guilty for that because, like, I'm empathetic and I want people to succeed. And it's really crazy because, I had an agent leave the team recently, and that hurt me. And then I realized that, like, I have to own what I can, extreme accountability. and I was responsible for this. I did not give them what they needed, and then just let it go. But we're talking about this. There's a bunch of layoffs right now in your industry.
Oh man,
I'm
pretty sure I said I didn't want to talk on this topic.
That's okay.
No, bring it. So, I will be very honest and say that right now, I have the right people on my team, and I told them going into this. So we talked months ago as a team, and I talked to each one of them, and I said, guys, we have the right team. This ugly patch that we're in, I think, could be maybe 6 months tops, right? And I've done it for 20 years, so I went through the crash and everything else. My thing was, if you do what you need to do, I'm going to do what I need to do. And at the end of the day, when you lead a team, and you guys interrupt me and tell me if you don't agree with this thought process, but I'm willing to get paid $1 before I cut somebody else's income. Because, for 2 reasons. One, I do care about my people, and I have the right people. If I don't have the right people, I'll get rid of somebody, right? Then it's not a hobby. But you have to make some of these decisions on the long game, right? And so my thought process is, the amount of people I have on my team right now, when we come out of this, for sure I need these people. Okay, so you're gonna make, and I actually did a short video on this, but I'm like, you're gonna make a quick decision and say, right now, I'm cutting this expense, when you have to rehire the person, not that person, find a new one, right?
Right.
Let's say buyer's agent, seller's agent, assistant, right? Whatever. Hey, I'm gonna have to find them a new one and train them and hope it's the right person and all this shit in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
How much money is it gonna cost to, let's say it gets bumpy, the first hire is not the right person, and the second one's not. You may be saving, let's just make up a number, $30,000 in salary, but it could end up costing you 60 to 90, right? And ruining your quality of life, hindering your business, hindering your growth, all because you're like, oh, this is bad, this is the end of the world, I'm gonna get rid of this person. And people want to be part of something. I think that's the neat thing about teams.
Yeah.
Man, you get the right people and they're bought into your vision, they're going to do a lot for you, right? And so, no, I'm struggling with it right now because, the mortgage industry is down. And I've restructured a ton of things based on keeping the core employees that I have, because I feel like, and Brandon already hinted to it, so I can say this, if I have to let somebody go, I feel like I'm failing them and I failed myself. I'm alright with not making some money for a little bit, or struggling, or doing any of these things because that's a short-term thing.
Yeah.
But it is hard for me, and that's literally what I'm waking up with right now, is that specific topic. And I think for us, the three of us to sit here and talk like this says a lot about us, and it says a lot about our industry improving, because, man, you talk to some people and it's like, screw them, I'll get rid of everybody. And just replace them. And it's like, man, the truth of the matter is, certain people you cannot replace. Right? You can find a shittier version of that same person or that same position, but you have to look at your group and say, hey, whatever it takes, this person is a core to my growth, my success.
Right. Absolutely. Chris, I want to talk about something real quick. You've told me this before, and I don't know, we haven't talked since then about it, but you actually have family working with you, right?
I do, yeah, my brother-in-law.
And so let's talk about that, because that's a whole nother can of worms there, right? I mean, you have not just the empathy of leadership and I have to be responsible for people who are under me, but also this is family. Hence why Brothers Property Group, right?
Brothers Property Group. I had to represent a little bit.
I'm just glad you didn't come in here with a bunch of propaganda. You come in with
my Killer Williams hat and my letterman that says Brothers Property Group.
We're gonna have to bleep all of it out there. One of those
we just censor it.
Yeah.
Just moving and talking, but nothing's coming out. What's going on there?
Oh yes, the perfect time in the show where our wonderful director of operations brings me coffee. Look at that. Look at that. Those of you listening to this podcast, my wife is amazing and she just brought me coffee. Sustenance is important. Every team leader needs a bad mamma jamma married to him or her.
He must have been in a doghouse so bad to just go with that.
I have a hernia surgery tomorrow, and so I'm gonna be like
that. Right? Need the love afterward. You're like,
I needed her to know that I value and appreciate her. Look, I even showed up for an interview today for someone that isn't even in my department. That's how much I love my wife and director of operations.
You showed up because you have to also sign off on this person, not because
He went too far.
Yeah.
He just said he would have stayed out of trouble, folks. That's a textbook example.
That is
Sweetie, thank you so much for the coffee. You're the best. I love you.
Remember, it's
Stop,
like,
your nose is just brown.
we were doing great until
this will become a reel. Stay tuned. Okay, so Chris, let's talk about that. So speaking of family, my wife works with me, right?
Yeah.
So we started this team together. So you started this team with your brother.
Yep.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I left the team, he left the team, and I told you I wanted to do my own brand, do this, and so I said, what better way to do this than with my brother-in-law? He had just gotten his license, and if he's watching this, sorry, but I figured I was going to be doing a lot of the work anyway, so might as well bring them in together. So we started a team. It's a very delicate relationship. You have to be able to separate work, personal, family, because personal and family is not the same thing, and it's tough.
So when you talk about that, separating work from family, I empathize with that a lot because it's something that we kind of deal with when we've gotten a lot better at it. We're coming on 3 years of having this team together. Separating the work fight stops there, and doesn't continue into a marital fight, right? And I'm not we don't fight about work. We have disagreements and we're talking business decisions, and I think it's really important to separate that because what's going to happen at some point is things will get bad, and then somebody's going to leave, and then I always have that fear around because there's a lot of married teams out there, a lot of brothers in business together and family members in business together. And what happens when it gets so bad and they just leave? Do you just rebrand your whole team? Hey, we're not Brothers Property Group, we're Brother Property Group.
Brother Property Group.
That's some lonely Thanksgivings right
Or some awkward Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You're sitting across the table. Hey there.
Colton sits in the other room now.
He gets a kitty table.
He's actually calling Fizbo's and expired. It's at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You can sit outside on the bench table.
The kitty table.
Yeah, the kitty table. Hey, you asshole.
I think it's really, really interesting though because a lot of people when Mary and I met, we were at a restaurant together. We were waiting tables together, and a lot of people were like, oh, people work together, never work out. And I'm like, the more we're in this industry, the more we see if you're married or you got family working for you, it works, but you have to set boundaries in place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any boundaries you care to share about that we don't talk about this?
No, we had a very good understanding of what the structure was going to look like. Obviously, me being in the industry longer than he was, I had different visions. I had different approaches I wanted to take as opposed to him. But he's younger. He has that social media, those kind of things that I might not be super savvy in. So
it's okay. I sent you a video the other day, and I'm really surprised you sent me one back.
Yeah, I had oh, man.
Dave's you sent me another voicemail.
I was I gotta do this.
Guy did on.
I send Dave voice. I want to tell you this because it is important that you understand. I'm busy. Apparently busier.
Wow, that's a shot. That's a clip right there.
But when I'm busy,
You know that?
Huh?
You're not busy.
Nobody. I want you to know I'm busy. It's all right. Well, now that we got that out of the way,
All
let's talk about
Inspiration, and I'm busy.
that should be my tagline. This is paid for by the National Association of Realtors parody account on Twitter, blue check mark. So I'll text Dave and I'll be I'll send him a voice memo, little voice, because we have iPhones, because if you don't have an iPhone, you're just weird. And so I fax.
Stay tuned for more.
Big if true. And I'll send a voice memo. He's like, why are you sending this to me? So we finally got to the point where he was like, dude, please stop sending this to me. He sent me, I was like, all right, I said something, he sent him well, you're just old and cranky. And then he sent me a video of him at a grocery store or a liquor store, probably a liquor store because it's Dave. And he goes, okay. And I'm like, oh, we improved. We went from text message to video. But so I cut off track there. But
He has better GIFs than you, though. You don't even have GIFs.
Are they GIFs or GIFs?
You
Stay
don't have
tuned.
either. You don't have GIFs or GIFs.
on next week's podcast.
Brandon did not learn. If you rewind about 4 minutes back, Brandon didn't learn from that experience either. But so, all right. So I'm gonna rapid fire you with some things, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
First thing that comes to mind.
Pineapples.
Favorite? Well, it's not gonna be that rapid. Hang on. So, somebody who's starting off as an agent.
Yeah.
I need you to give me one thing that you're super thankful you did early in your career, and one thing that you did that you're like, that was the worst thing I could have done.
All right. First thing I'm thankful for. I know it sounds dumb. Cold calling. Like,
That's stupid.
Like,
no shit.
you know, like, I hate being told no. Like, I hate it.
Okay.
But I'm pretty good at it. I'm really good at cold calling, and it works.
So, all right. So this is important because that's like a fear topic for a lot of people. So, one, it works.
Yeah.
So you've converted off of cold calling.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Okay. Two, you kind of hinted to it helped you over a hump of something that you were not like. It helped you get over the nose.
Yeah, it helped me with like all aspects of just approaching strangers. Like I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to anybody about anything. But when I'm like, hey, let's talk about how you can work with me, or like, hey, let's sell your house. Like that kind of stuff used to make me really uncomfortable. And so getting on the phone and like not having to look at somebody and being told no, made the face to face that much easier. So that's something that I was thankful that I did. I know it doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't. But
we have like two opposite opinions on this.
That's fine. That's one of the things in the industry though that like you're either all for it or you're like, this sucks, don't ever do it.
But I think that's also a healthy thing to jump on is that you can piggyback off of stuff and say, hey, this person did this and was successful, and I'm gonna do mine a slightly different way. All right, so that was one good thing.
Yeah, no, don't call FISBOs. Those.
Oh, those guys. That's what I'm talking about. You know, and look, we haven't had FISBOs and expired in like 2.5 years. And I just want to say that when they come back, like I'm pretty sure no one's gonna know how to call them. Like they haven't. Like, nobody's spoken.
They're hoping they're like, please don't answer. Please don't answer. Would you like to? Hang on, can I start over? Have you thought about shit? I'm gonna call you back.
I remember the first call. I called like I got a good list of them, and I called like a third of them.
Yeah.
My first week in real estate. I was like, all right, I got this list of people. I'm gonna call them. And the first 10 people, like they all like answered, and they were like, no, I'm gonna do this on my own. No, and I was like, are you sure I could really help you? And they were like, no.
Do you need more money? We'll go to the store and get the for sale sign by owner together. We'll take a photo. I just want to be part of this transaction.
I just want to take a picture in front of your house.
Can I tour you?
I always hated we're gonna talk. This is actually really important for new agents. So if you're talking about like FISBOs and expired, I did the Ben Kinney challenge, $1,000 on my first day. Okay, you know what? We're gonna close.
Shift over.
So I had to do the Ben Kinney challenge, $1,000 in one day. Start to finish. It was a triple dialer. I was kind of cheating. I got hung up on. I got told no. I literally converted 0 appointments, and that's when I knew that it was gonna be rough from there. But as a new agent, if you like being told no a lot, or if you're a former solar salesman who used to be in my neighborhood, and I told you to go get a real estate license, and now you call FISBOs and expireds, maybe you'll be all right. But
they're used to being told no.
They get doors slammed on them all the time. Now they just get to do it over the phone. Yeah. But it's something that's actually like I think new agents should get in front of people that way at least, especially during the pandemic. All we can do was get on the phones.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's actually something that's viable for people to cut their teeth on. It's not for me. Our whole business is referral based. Yep. I absolutely hate it. Just because
I do too.
I don't believe we're building a relationship. We're just telling the prospective seller how much bigger our pants are than the other agent that tried to sell their house, and that's the scripts. I don't think they work. They do, but I don't think they work for me and my business model. And so when we're talking about that for new agents, it's really important that they understand, like, if that's something that you think you're going to be good at, go make dials, pound the phones. And we have like lead sources that provide us like lukewarm leads. We still have to call them. We still have to cold call them and say like, hey, like, I'm one of 6 people that's going to call you today. I'd like to list your house, or I'd like to help you buy a house. And, if you provide enough value, hey, I wanted to show you, most of the time I'll be like, hey, we did this video. I'll send that to them. Hey, we did this video on this listing. We can do this on your house. And a lot of the times that's enough to get the appointment. And then you go to the appointment, you create the relationship, and, sometimes your listing appointments cook you dinner and get you drunk, but that's,
I've noticed that's
It's a thing. Like
Yeah.
we had it's actually really cool. We just helped them. Well, I can't say it yet. It's under wraps, but we've done with their family and their referrals 5 transactions, and they like cooked us dinner at our listing appointment, and like we drank and played cornhole. Like new agents, so this is really important. If you want to get deep, I'm talking like you hear it a lot. Something you hear in the industry as a new agent. Go a mile deep, not a mile wide. Okay? Go a mile deep. Figure out how to get in relationship with every single appointment you set. Because it is not, the sales process is more about the relationship that you build than the actual sales skills that you have.
If you have a relationship with them too, it makes it a lot more fun to work with them.
Right.
You know, they're not just a client.
Right, exactly. And it's just about, like, we'll use this as an example. This is only because I think that it's valuable in this moment. If I had called you a few months ago and said, "Hey man, do you want to come to EXP?" Just like out of the blue, you'd probably be like, "Why are you, dude? I don't want to talk about this right now. Like, I was already there, and I'm doing my own thing now. Like, why are you calling me about this?"
Like, I just accepted your friend request on Facebook. Dude. That doesn't mean I want to be friends.
Yeah, like, I don't. Yeah, I'm here for the for when you give me a free pie during the holidays. Like,
Clearly, I'm here with friends.
well, yeah, clarity.
Yeah.
We're friends. But if I call you and say, "Hey man, like I just want to get lunch with you, like pick your brain,"
Yeah.
and then like you come to me and you're like, "Hey man, like so tell me about EXP." Like that's different. That's relational.
Yeah.
And I think a lot, when we're talking, and we're not talking about recruiting in this episode, but I think that it's really important for anybody who's recruiting to be in a relationship. A lot of new agents are like, "I just joined this brokerage. Come join with me. I'm awesome." And then it's like, "Holy crap, dude, you're overwhelming, and you're not even providing value or being in a relationship with me, and I want nothing to do with that."
Yep.
And so anyway, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry, were you done with that?
I'm done.
Okay,
I finished my thought.
I'm gonna bring it back around. That's my job. I'm gonna bring it back around.
The worst thing.
So when you started off, the
Yeah.
one thing that you did and or heard or any of that, and it was horrible advice for a new agent.
The worst thing. I'll just say, not necessarily the worst advice. This will be my advice. This is the worst thing you can do as a new agent. Is listen to the fear in your head. Like you've got to get over that. Like whatever industry you came from,
That's good
whether
advice.
you just graduated high school and you're like, "Hey, I just got my license. I'm gonna do this," but none of my friends are buying homes right now. Yeah, they are. They're renting. They're going to college. They got to rent a home there. Everybody either rents, buys, sells something at some point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. Unless they live in an apartment until they die, they're going to rent, buy, or sell a house.
So one of the things early on as an agent would be is really control that self-talk.
Yeah.
As
you
corny
can't-
as that sounds, but
Yeah.
the pep talk, the waking up, being positive, knowing you're gonna kill it, you know what I mean? Like, and that's a downward spiral. And if you're watching or listening to this right now, and we are gonna be in December of 2022, even established agents and loan officers and whatever are going to have that talk in their head.
Yeah.
This sucks. How long is it gonna be? Oh my God, what if? If you let those things creep in, you're dead. You know, it's kind of like, hey, when is it going to turn around? I hear that. When do you think it's going to turn around? If that's a thought process you have in your head, you are screwed.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for something to happen
Instead
to
of
you.
Being
instead of
proactive and going after it, yeah. Dave, you weren't here yet, but Cameron and I, like, we're not friends. Like, being on camera, I've been sweating since I woke up this morning. Like, that's just how it is.
Don't smell like it.
Now, Aqua di Gio.
It's my dad.
No, but you know when Brandon reached out to me, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, like, "Hey, do you want to be on my podcast?" First thing that popped in my head was like, "Yeah."
I said our podcast. Don't worry, Dave. I don't want your feelings to be hurt.
Alright.
I'm Dave.
Yeah.
He is a super real estate bro.
But he's not busy.
Rewind back 12 minutes, you'll catch that clip.
Yeah, if you skipped over to now, like, yeah.
This is on YouTube. This is the most replayed part.
But yeah, when he asked me, my first thought was like, "Yeah, that's great." And then when I think podcast, I think like Spotify. I'm listening to a podcast.
Oh, it'll be on there.
But then I was like, "Oh crap, he does it on video." But I was like, you know what? I need to do it. Like, I need to get over that.
Correct.
I had an agent call me this morning, and he knows I hate being on video. He knows I hate recording myself. And he's like, "Hey man, it's Tuesday. 4 weekdays left in the week. I challenge you to 3 30-second videos.
Oh my gosh.
Just post 3 videos. He's like,
I love it.
He's like, just do it. I don't know why you're.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna be bad.
Can we spend the last couple minutes of this podcast talking about the incredible importance of the thing we're doing right now, which is video recording? If you are
the one thing that I dread the most, let's talk about it.
Okay, let's do it.
Wait, all right, but I think that's a good perspective from all three, right? So let's dig into it.
Yeah, because you and I are like, I think Dave is probably the pinnacle of I'm just gonna shoot and record, and my videos sucked quality wise, but I just put them out 10 years ago. No, you said it
Is
yourself.
nobody else listening to this shit?
But I'm not talking it. No, this is a conversation that Dave and I had months ago. He was like, it doesn't matter what camera you have or anything like that, you're posting content. And it's really important as a new agent. A lot of new agents right now, especially coming out of the pandemic, we were order takers for 2.5 years. Let's just be honest about that. We were in relationship with clients, but it was hey, you want to write this offer or not? Cool, we're writing it. Hey, congrats, you got it accepted. We all have our heads off right now. We're blowing by. And that's not to say that we weren't in relationship, but real estate agents now who are getting licensed, you have a really unique opportunity to go out there and absolutely crush it with video. We just started doing video consistently, when I hired my VA, and posting videos every week and posting reels regularly, and our social media following has gone up, and clients text us, hey, I see your videos all the time now on my feed. But the consistency wasn't there. Now it's there, and we do it all the time, hence why we're doing this. But let's talk about this for a second. So Chris, you're hiring a new agent. Are you requiring them to shoot content at all?
Ooh, I like that.
Not necessarily requiring them, I'm encouraging because I have to encourage myself. It's
Sure.
more of that. I can't ask somebody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself.
Sure. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
And so
Mary's just here for peanut gallery.
I'm just the hack. I'm the hack. What is it, the hackler? Can I go to
The heckler, yeah.
The hackler. I'm just here to make your life miserable.
30 years ago, agents would go into the office and they'd look on the wall and look at all the listings and go, my client wants to buy that house.
Yeah.
You'd go over to their cubicle and say, hey, I've got a client that wants to buy your client's house. And now it's so much more digital. Everything is digital. The EP is digital. That is where society has taken our industry.
The game has changed.
And if you're not good at it or you don't want to do it, you're gonna fall behind.
And I think go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
I'm gonna piggyback on that. I think here moving forward, you're gonna see some things that concern me. One is people doing a lot of video and content and not addressing the ROI. I did a really cute TikTok, obviously not me, but I did a really cute TikTok where I'm pointing this stuff, and it got 8,000 views, right, or whatever. Oh wow! If you can't articulate business to that, you're failing in that regard. And I think the gap between people who are content is a new marketing, right? So kind of like how you would farm an area before. You're gonna get mailers, you're gonna have my newsletter, I'm gonna be involved in the community, maybe I live in the community. Content is the new marketing. And the people who don't have a plan, aren't consistently doing it, putting the work in, and on a lot of levels putting the money into it now, that gap is gonna become larger and larger between the people who are successful, massively successful, and those who aren't. Because here's what we don't hear very often. A lot of this stuff is working for you while you're asleep and automatically.
I'll wake up and be like, oh, I had 400 views when I went to bed. Now I have 2,000.
Right. It's amazing because we're coming out of a generation, the generation that's about to retire. That generation, they consume content, not as much as our generation and Gen Z, but the generation that's about to retire, they're going to need to do something with their money. Yeah. What are we doing to educate them? It's because the stock market ain't doing them crap right now. We all know that. But
401k.
Good old Social Security that ain't coming. I was talking to my grandparents are in town, and my grandma was like, yeah, my Social Security is X amount of dollars a month. And I'm like, holy crap, if you own 2 rentals, you can triple that. But the thing is that when it comes to content, you should be making content. First of all, you need to figure out what you're going to make. But you can just rip off and duplicate people. So when we're talking about investors and what you should be doing with your money, go follow people like Pace Morby. He's the big creative finance guy. You should go follow
Bigger Pockets,
Investor Army. I mean, you should go follow those guys and be like, hey, I want to make content like that, and just go recreate that content. You don't have to go do new content. If you're a new agent, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Rip off my content. I don't care. Rip off Dave's content.
What's your
I had an agent literally regurgitate the exact video I did
Oh,
and
I got
send
more
it to
views
me.
too.
Yeah.
And sent it to me and was like, hey, I straight up just took yours. And I was like, that's awesome.
Cool.
Because everybody's taking it from somewhere else, right? That's why when you see certain topics hit the market, like with the 2-1 buy down and there was some other one, you'll notice that everybody's regurgitating that.
It's the same information. There's only so many ways you can say it.
Right. But you have to remember that my audience is different than your audience, is different than your audience, and it's also a whole bunch of other things that benefit. It shows your consistency.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm busy, as Brandon likes to point out. He's busy. He's got stuff going on, right? It shows that you're doing real estate, and it's showing your personality. Right. So they're watching and they're gonna say, "Hey, I really like that guy's personality, that girl's personality," or hey, that person seems like a real jerk. I don't want to work with them because they're arrogant and they're extremely busy.
Here's the biggest point out of this as a new agent. What do you hear? Know, like, and trust, right?
Yep.
You need to be able to get them to know, like, and trust you. So, Chris, when you made dials and you call someone and they're like, I don't want to talk to you, they just hear off your voice. Now, don't get me wrong, you have a nice toned voice, and I don't know how to, whatever. You have a nice sounding voice.
Just got real hot.
Sorry, I'm busy actually texting the client right now. So.
I'm saying that could be like a phone operator?
Are you
Is that
Have you?
Hey, so real quick, so agents don't put 1-800 numbers on your writers. Chris has a 1-900 number on his right. I'm kidding. So when we're talking about cold calling, they hear your voice, and they, sometimes they can build trust off of that. But if they're watching your content, they're watching a video, they're like, oh my gosh, and it's energy. It's what content you put out.
Energy.
Like you get what you put into the world, right? So in that video, hey guys, so this is a house that I'm showing, and don't get me wrong, like I want you to shoot content regardless. We can work on the personality later, but when you're shooting content, hey guys, Brandon Snyder, team leader selling with the Snyder Group here, and I am at our newest listing on 123 Smith Street. It's listed, it's a 4.5 bedroom, whatever. The energy level has to be there because you need people to know, like, and trust you. You see all these people, I got all these leads off TikTok and Instagram. It's because their energy, they're creating a following based on people going to them as the go-to source for data and information, and they're also trusting them because they seem approachable.
Also, like, if you're not excited about it, like,
High energy, high
I
energy.
have this home, it's beautiful,
It's
and lovely,
contagious.
you should come check it out. They're like, what? No, I'm not gonna go see that house. He doesn't even like it.
That listing's a dump. I saw it.
There's an agent.
Shit.
There's an agent at he used to be at Keller Williams Clear Lake. He's at Real, and his name's Caleb Monroe, and he does these awesome listing tour videos. He jumped in a pool, and he's a younger guy. He's like under 25, I think, and I think that it's really cool what he does.
Your
because,
backs would never.
yeah, I'll die in the pool. Then we'll have a problem. Can't sell the house. Somebody died in the pool.
It's an expired listing.
Chris is definitely calling it.
Hey,
Hey, I heard someone died in your pool. I guarantee I can sell that house.
I'll door knock that house.
Sir, are you going to go to the Home Depot and get a for sale by owner sign? Wonderful. Let me go with you.
Heard your last experience
That's a keeper.
ended tragically, so
Well, and so let me leave with this thought too. If you're doing all this content, you have to have a schedule and a plan, or it's not scalable because it's a shitload of work. I can tell you because I'm doing it. Brand's doing it. It's a ton of work. The other thing is this. These leads that you're getting in have to be receiving this information on some form or fashion. Either asking them to like you on Instagram or whatever, maybe an email drip campaign. But if you're putting one video and one reel on Facebook and you're not monetizing that from a standpoint of really blanketing it out and getting mileage out of it, you're also missing the boat because it's a lot of work to do a 1-minute video.
I suck at that. I'll admit. I don't have a really good call to action. I'm like, hey, here's all this free content. Now do whatever you want with it. I think in my content, Hey guys, if you really like this podcast or you like hearing us make fun of each other, please like and subscribe because it helps us get more information out there. And this actually goes out to our database. So if you want to get into our database and get emails with our newest videos and podcasts, you can actually shoot us a message and we'll be able to get you in our email list. There you go, I did it! We did
Wow.
it! Look at that!
Wow.
Look at that! Also, this episode is brought to you by Fidelity National Title, #sponsored. Look at that, I did it!
I feel like that might be it.
That's it,
We
we're
should
done.
probably stop.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm concerned we're gonna really screw this up.
We're gonna wrap this up though.
I have so much more to say.
Chris, we really appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on here and talking about your journey and kind of your experience as a team leader and one of the brothers of Brothers Property Group. If you ever go to Brother, maybe we'll like cut the logo in half and it'll be Brother.
If you ever want to join the team, you got to figure out a way to make brother apply to you. So,
Hey, brother.
just letting you know.
There you go.
Hulk Hogan is your logo.
Yeah, we got a big Hulk Hogan on the back of the shirt.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Super Real Estate Bros podcast. This podcast can be found anywhere where podcasts are available, Spotify, Apple, all that jazz. If you would like to watch more videos and content from each of us, Dave, where can we find you?
Everywhere under Dave Your Mortgage Guy, specifically Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that fun stuff.
And what about you, Chris?
At Brothers Property Group on Instagram. I don't have a Twitter. I don't know how to do that. Facebook and
You mean you're not paying $8 a month?
yeah, I don't need a blue check mark. I mean, I probably should, but
You can find us at Selling at the Snyder Group. I'm super cool, and I have a digital creator profile account, so you can find me, Brandon Earl Snyder, if you want to send us a message, ask questions. I don't actually know why I have a digital creator account, but my wife told me to do it.
And he's super busy.
And I'm super busy. But thanks, y'all.